I'm a Hawaiian fan.
And welcome to Tracking the Wolves this week. I'm Blake Day with NSU Athletics. The NSU baseball team played Augustana this past weekend down in Sioux Falls. Northern lost the first game 8-6, but bounced back in Game 2 and won 4-3. The Wolves would then end up losing the next two games 6-1 and 4-2. The win in Game 2 for Northern breaks a 26-game winning streak for Augustana in the series, as NSU's last win before Friday came back in 2005. The NSU softball team lost both games to Washburn this past weekend, losing 9-7 in the first game and 15-5 in Game 2. Northern then went to the Missouri Western tournament and went 3-3 in games there, beating Missouri Western 3-2 and then defeating Washburn 9-6, and the Wolves also beat Northwest Missouri State 8-1. That's it for past results. We'll be right back with an interview with the Wolves men's baseball coach, Dean Barry.
NCAA championships are something special.
Filled with memories we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
We ask that you cheer hard for your institutions.
Acting responsibly and courteously towards those around you.
In the spirit of sportsmanship, enjoy the game, and let's provide our student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans the respect they deserve.
Welcome to this portion of Tracking the Wolves. I'm Associate Athletic Director Zach Flackus, and my guest today is NSU head baseball coach Dean Barry. Coach, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. It's baseball season.
It's baseball season. Boy, you look outside. We had a little bit of snow yesterday, but it's just beautiful out. You know, it's a little bit cold, but all the snow is gone. Is there still a little bit of frost in the ground?
Yeah, there is, but looking back to last year, we're a lot further ahead of the game than we have been, and so we're excited and about the possibility of getting out sooner than later.
Well, and especially with the size of the team you have this year, I know you came into fall ball and you had 50 or so guys. You've actually added a couple. Is your roster, what are you currently sitting at?
53. We've got a JV program. We got a few guys that are redshirting as well. So yeah, we're excited for the future.
Well, and it's nice when you have a nice spring like this, or at least a nicer spring, that you can actually get outside. You got room in the Barnett Center to work with 50-plus guys?
Yeah, we really do. It's the setup allows us to do a lot of things with our cages up top and the wide area down on the floor. We're able to get a lot of things done in a short period of time.
You know, Wolves baseball, you've been at Northern here for a few years, and it's just made tremendous jumps as far as the quality of the product you're putting on the field. We're still in northern climate. It's a little bit tougher. There's not as much high school baseball up here. It's a cold weather sport. How have you been able to recruit 50-plus kids for your baseball program?
Well, just you know, uncovering rocks everywhere. You know, Coach Gerald and myself do the majority of that, and we both have a lot of connections. We have spent a lot more time in the Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota region than we have before, and we think we've got a great product here at Northern State, and you know, the kids come here and they come for visits. The place kind of sells itself. So you know, that part of it, the goal is getting those guys on campus and showing them what we have, from facilities to weight room to everything else, and meeting the people that we have here. You know, like I said, Northern sells itself.
You know, and I know we've got a little bit of a different situation because we don't really have a home baseball field. We play out at Fossum Field. I know they have high school baseball this year. Presentation College also plays baseball, so that facility gets a lot of use. In the Barnett Center here, I know we got a second batting cage. I think you guys just got a pitching machine or two. Do things like that, is that really what moves your program forward? Do you get that individual support that then you can put back in your program?
Well, it really does, and all those things aren't absolutely necessary, the batting cages, and but it makes things a lot easier for everybody, more efficient, and just I think an overall better experience for kids where they can hit throughout the day instead of coming in late at night to do their thing. They can hit most of the time, from 6 a.m. till 10 at night. So whatever works for their schedules and things like that, it works out pretty well.
Well, and the nice thing is now as we get into talking about your actual product you put on the field, you guys got to go down south. It's kind of nice to see us getting some wins, and it's not like you're having to go so deep in your lineup because you've got more pitching. Tell us a little bit about your trip down south to Phoenix, and I think you guys got in 15 games or so. I know some of them are JV, some of them varsity, but how'd the trip go for you guys?
It went very well. We ended up taking 40 guys, which is the most I've ever taken, which allowed us to play a JV schedule as well, 6 JV and 9 varsity. And I thought it went very well. We played some very good competition, some ranked teams in the nation, some NSIC teams that were playoff. I think 3 teams, Concordia, Bemidji, and St. Cloud, obviously all playoff teams last year, and able to go 4-0 against those teams. And so it kind of shows that we are getting better, and we are competing at the level as the NSIC is playing. So the trip itself was very good. Had some great weather. Kids had a great time, I think, and now we're just looking forward to the rest of the conference season.
You get in a lot of games in a short period of time, and you go down south. To come back from there with the record you did, having a nice winning record, how do your arms hold up? Because it's this a lot of times. This is the first pitching that they get on the year, and you're playing 15 games in a 7-8 day period. How can you get that many arms and keep them together?
Well, like I said, taking 40 guys helps, but the guys are trained throughout the last couple of months. They're able to long toss and to do their pitch, and so they're up to about a 75-80 pitch count even before we go down there. But having those guys be physically ready before we go is a big help.
And you came back from down south, had a great experience down there. You guys got in a lot of games. The weather was beautiful. You come up here, I know you went down to Augustana and you played your opening weekend of the year, and it's 30 degrees a couple days. You play 4 games and I think 3 days down there. Got a nice win over Augustana. What was it like coming back here to play baseball in 30-degree weather compared to 75, 80 degrees down there?
Yeah, we don't spend a whole lot of time talking about it. I probably talk about it more with our guys than the guys do. They understand and know this climate up here during this month. It's a little bit hit or miss, but when those guys get going, the cold kind of goes away, and understand that everybody's kind of in the same boat. So we just, they love playing the game so much that we just go play.
You got a better attitude about it than I do. I want it to be 80 degrees. My golf game and my boys' baseball season needs to get started. I had a couple of really good individual performances this last week. I know our Qdoba Athlete of the Week is John Eckstein in a win over Augustana. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that game, because I think he ended up throwing in did he go into the 9th inning on that one?
He did. And we typically, to ask somebody to throw the amount of pitches that he did and to go back into the 9th in a close game like that is asking a lot out of him. And he did. He did a great job. We got in a situation where we thought he struck out the leadoff guy in that 9th, but the umpire didn't agree, and he ended up walking that guy. And pretty soon, before you know it, things aren't looking very good. But Andrew Chrisman came in and got a guy to roll into a double play and to close the game off. So, but no, I can't say enough about John. John's really, he's had 3 starts so far, and he's just been outstanding up to this point.
You talked about some of your signature wins: Concordia, St. Paul, St. Cloud, Bemidji, another one over Augustana. This has got to create some momentum for your team and your players, especially seeing, we're beating some ranked teams, we're beating some playoff contention teams, some perennial powers in our conference. What's the mentality looking at your team as you guys go into Wayne State and the rest of our conference season?
It's really unique, the group that we have, and there's some very good leadership and just a confident bunch that aren't so concerned about what's happened in the past. They're more concerned about, hey, this team this team's different, and that's the attitude they take, and they come out and, they've been up against it. When I look back into the Tucson trip, we had just played a 4-hour, 9-inning game with Southwest State and lost. Kind of a miserable day, windy, hotter than heck, and now we got St. Cloud waiting on another field to play us, and those guys came out and were just better that day, and we was very proud of them, and like I said, it's just kind of like a different attitude with the group.
We already mentioned Eckstein and Andrew. Who are some of the other leaders on your team that you really need to step up throughout this year?
Well, behind the plate, Buddy Traxler's starting to play again. He just, for the first time, basically against Augustana, it was his first action. He's overcoming a hand injury, and he's really a difference maker behind the plate, the way he can throw it. Augustana's a team that runs like crazy. I think they had 2 stolen bases in 4 games, and that's really uncharacteristic of Augustana, and a lot of that had to do with Buddy behind the plate. I think he threw out 5 guys that day. So he's a difference maker for us. Obviously, Robbie Rockamora has been one of our mainstays in the lineup. Trevor Spohr, another senior outfielder that just he's a hardworking kid, and he just finds ways to get on base all the time. So there's it depends on the day. We're getting lots of contributions from many different people every time we step up.
Well, and baseball can be such a streak game. You get that hitter that gets on a roll. That's where your depth, I think, is going to be nice. You're playing so many. You'll play 4 games in 2 days a lot of the times. And I'm assuming that's where that depth really comes in handy. A guy comes out the first game, gets 2-3 hits, you leave him in the lineup for the second, third, fourth game, whatever it is, and he comes back on a hot streak, which can really propel a team. And it seems like that's kind of what happened down at Augustana.
Yeah, we've got depth like we haven't had before, and you nailed it on the head. You kind of roll with the guy that is hot and giving you some good at bats and that sort of thing. And like I said, it changes kind of game to game, and that's why we have a different lineup quite often. Is that there are a lot of options on the bench that we think we can get contributions from. So it is a little bit different every time out.
We're on the road here. I think your first 20, 25 games, it seems like, are on the road because you're down in Tucson, and then you go on the road for a couple. But looks like your home opening weekend is going to be April 5th and 6th with the weather and stuff. Does it look like we'll be able to get those games in?
I think so. I mean, our field right now is completely free of snow. Now we just wait, hopefully a couple warm days, we'll get the frost out, and we'll be playing. So yeah, like I said earlier, we're a lot closer off than we were last year, and excited for that. For us to play at home.
Well, and for the fans also, we haven't got to see a lot of baseball at home these last year. Last year we had the one home weekend, graduation weekend, and it was beautiful, and we had 4 nice games over the days. But it looks like with the weather, it's going to cooperate. You got a lot of home games scheduled. Your next games are actually March 29th and 30th this weekend down at Wayne State, and then the following weekend you're at home here against Crookston. So.
Yeah, no, once the conference season gets going, especially next week, we start midweek stuff too. It flies by. I mean, there's not a whole lot of rest. We're flying and going, but real excited about this group that we have, and anxious to see what they can do.
Coach, appreciate your time today.
Thanks for having me.
This has been Zach Flackus and NSU baseball coach Dean Barry for Tracking the Wolves.
We know you want family-friendly sporting events.
Sporting events where you can be comfortable
and entertained in a positive environment. Watching great individuals and teams compete.
With commitment, effort, and good sportsmanship. That's what the Division II Game Environment Initiative is about.
Be a part of the excitement and find out why. These student athletes say with pride,
I chose
Division II.
And welcome back to Tracking the Wolves. Joining us this week, we have Andrew Crispin and Robbie Rockamora from the Wolves baseball team. So, gentlemen, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
All right, usually we just kind of kick things off a little bit, tell everybody about yourself. Andrew, we can start with you, kind of talk about, you're both seniors, talk about, what position you play, hometown, major, any other schools you were at prior to here. Let's kind of start out with that for everybody.
Yeah, I'm a senior. I'm a pitcher for the Wolves, and I'm from Waterloo, Iowa. I came here 4 years ago. I had Tommy John surgery and had to sit out for a couple years. But prior to that, I went to a junior college in northern Iowa called NIAC, North Iowa Area Community College. I'm studying sports marketing, so that's what I'm at Northern for.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm Robbie Rockamora. I'm a senior as well. I DH and play first base. I came straight from high school, from Mission Hills High School in San Marcos, California. I'm majoring in accounting. I decided to management major today, actually. So
okay.
Be here for another year after that, but finish that next May and I'll be good to go.
Very nice. Let's kind of talk about some career aspirations, if you guys know that at this point. Robbie, we can talk about you first. Obviously, if we're going into accounting, maybe we're pretty straightforward on what we want to do there, but just kind of talk about any maybe internship plans or anything that you've thought of at this point, or really not there yet. We'll kind of go on here.
Yeah, well, I added the management degree because not 100% sure what I want to do yet, but it gives me options, and obviously accounting, it's pretty straightforward. You want to go in accounting. So I would aim for an internship next year, maybe 2 semesters before I graduate, so get that out of the way and see what goes on from there.
All right. And Andrew, I guess, plans in graduating in May, correct? So
yeah, I graduate this May. I did my internship with you, actually, here at Northern, and so that was a good time. That was a good experience, and I guess my aspirations for my career, I would ideally like to work for maybe a baseball team at some point. I know there's a lot of internships in marketing and even administration that you can get into, so that's probably what my end goal would be.
Okay. This is kind of the one that we always have to give everybody a heads up on because nobody's a fan of this question, but we always ask for a random fact, fun fact about yourself. So I guess what do you guys have for us on that aspect of things?
I guess a fun fact about me, building on my career aspirations, I kind of have a passion to go into the missions field, so that's, I guess, not a ton of people know that. I don't know whether I want to do it for a career, like a full-time missionary, but I would at least like to do it maybe here and there throughout the year, going to different places and just doing my work.
All right.
For me, I guess it'd be I taught myself how to play the piano. Not many people know that. I mean, he knows because I live with him, but pretty much taught myself how to play that, and that's pretty much my fun fact.
Very nice. No, it is both good ones. Let's kind of talk about the season itself a little bit. Still fairly young, 7-7 overall, 1-3 in conference. Obviously, conference, we're just getting going here. First 3 games of the year, didn't get them in due to weather-wise, but you did win your first game of the year against Bethany College. Then went down to Tucson, went 5-4 on the trip down there. So let's kind of talk about the season up to this point. Obviously, this past weekend you guys played Augie, lost 3 or 4 down there, but I guess we can start with Andrew here. Just kind of talk about what you've seen from the team so far this year. Still pretty young, but I mean, you guys, you're at it for so long, practicing indoors here.
Yeah.
And then what it's like to finally get out there a little bit, get down to Tucson. I mean, obviously just a lot different than what we're experiencing up here. So let's kind of talk about the season a little bit in itself so far.
So far, what I see in the team is just a lot of fight, which is good. That's something that this program might not have had in previous years. Compared to this year, there's been a lot of ups and downs. I mean, we went down to Tucson and lost 3 games to Southwest, but beat St. Cloud. So it's almost like we're there. We still have to put it all together, but we're there. And yeah, Augie, that was a tough one. We did take 1 from them, which was pretty nice to break down that barrier of having beaten them in a while and get that off the program's chest, as you could say. And I'm really excited for this team this season. We've proven that we can play with anybody, and I think it's just gonna only keep getting better from here. So.
And Ravi, can you touch on that a little
like
bit?
Andrew said, we have a lot of fight. I think that comes from a great team chemistry. We play for each other, we play together. We always get along. We're always together. And Coach always preaches all the time. We have a lot of fight. We're always one good thing away from it coming our way instead of going the other team's way. So we're just real close. We're just that close away from getting 3 and 4 out of Augie. So we're right there. Once we figure it out, we'll be good though.
All right. Well, yeah, we did talk about Augie, and then obviously we're really getting into the heart of conference play here. You guys have Wayne, head to Wayne this weekend, University of Sioux Falls next week, and then home game in early April. We'll see if that happens or not. But let's kind of talk about with Crookston. Robbie, we can start off with you. What are we really expecting, from a Wayne, from USF, from Crookston? Those are kind of our next 3 series over about this next week and a half. Just kind of talk about maybe what you guys are looking to maybe improve upon. Since we're about a month into the season, what do we need to change, and what are we expecting from those teams?
Oh, well, all teams in the conference are going to be tough. There's not going to be no free games, so we got to play them tough. We got to play them like everyone can beat us and everyone can beat us, and we can beat everyone too as well. I think we kind of hit a rough patch hitting last week against Augie, so we can fix that, and that's just quick adjustments we can make on our own between games, between weeks. Looking forward to seeing Wayne. They're always a good, tough team. They're fun to play. Got a great ball field. Oh, it looks cold though,
Yeah.
But hopefully the weather warms up there. Sioux Falls will be our first time playing them. We got canceled last year. And Crookston, they're always fun to play too. We play them tough. They play us tough as well. We usually win those, and they play us tough though. So we got to make sure we fight there, and we got to show up there and not take it for granted.
Hey, Andrew, really anything to touch on that?
Yeah, just to add to a little bit of what Robbie said. I mean, we go down to Wayne, who was picked to finish pretty high in our conference, and we've had some pretty good success against Wayne in the past. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to go head to head with them. As you said, we haven't played Sioux Falls yet, so that's kind of up in the air. But just to add to what Robbie said, it doesn't matter who's on the schedule. We got to show up and play our game, because this conference is full of teams that can put a whooping on you if you don't come to play. So.
We'll kind of finish up with this a little bit. I mean, as we look at the schedule, like we said, the next 2 series, you guys are on the road, and then you're at home from April 5th, and you're not on the road again until April 26th. So you guys been out to the field much, and kind of what are we looking at there? Are we really expecting to get these in here? I mean, because that's a good 3-week stretch there of being at home.
Yeah.
Which in April, I mean, in Aberdeen, it's my only my second year here, but.
Yeah, last year we didn't get too many home games, so. We'll see what the weather does. I mean, as anybody here knows, it can go either way within a matter of hours. So I have been out to the field. Our catcher and I, Buddy, went out there and did a little work on it, and it doesn't look as bad as you might think. The field surface looks pretty good. The mound might need a little shaping, but I'm pretty confident that we'll get some games in, and hopefully the April 5th game against Crookston.
Yeah, I haven't been in the field yet. I trust Andrew what he said. It's looking all right. I mean, yesterday I woke up and there was snow on the ground, so and then it was gone by midday. So hopefully it stays that way. It'd be nice to play here. I love playing at home. It's always fun to play in front of your friends.
All right. Well, hey guys, thank you very much for joining us today, and good luck as we get rolling here into conference play. So we'll be right back with upcoming events.
NCAA championships are something special.
Filled with memories we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
We ask that you cheer hard for your institutions.
Acting responsibly and courteously towards those around you.
In the spirit of sportsmanship, enjoy the game, and let's provide our student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans the respect they deserve.
And welcome back to Tracking the Wolves. Northern State's Rachel Albright for softball and John Eckstein for the Wolves baseball team have been named as the Qdoba Scholar Athletes of the Week for their academic and athletic efforts over the past week. Eckstein threw a game winner for the Wolves this weekend against Augustana. Prior to the game, the Vikings have been on a 26-game win streak against NSU, dating back to 2005. Eckstein hit the mound for 8.1 innings, giving up 3 earned runs and striking out 2 in the 4-3 victory. Rachel Albright recorded at least 1 hit in the Wolves' 8 games this past week. She ended the week going 11 for 21 with a .524 batting average, from the plate with 10 RBI and 6 runs scored. After dropping her first career home run against Washburn University on Tuesday, Rachel then added 2 more against Northwest Missouri State and Emporia State. For upcoming events, the Wolves softball team will go to Wayne State for a doubleheader on Saturday, March 29th, starting at noon, and then head over to Augustana on Sunday, March 30th for another doubleheader, also beginning at noon. The softball team will then head up to Minnesota Duluth for a doubleheader April 1st, the first game time starting at noon. The first home softball game is scheduled for Saturday, April 5th against Concordia St. Paul. Game time is set for 1 p.m. The NSU baseball team will head down to Wayne State College this week to play doubleheaders both Saturday and Sunday. First pitch both days will begin at 1 p.m. The NSU baseball team will then go on to play the University of Sioux Falls for a doubleheader next Wednesday starting at 1 p.m. The first home baseball games of the season for the Wolves will be Saturday, April 5th and Sunday, April 6th against Minnesota Crookston. Both days will be doubleheaders starting at 1 p.m. For updated information, schedules, results of Northern State Athletics, go to our website at northernstatewolves.com. And thanks for watching. Go Wolves!